Before this video starts, I've been meaning to tell you guys, click that bell so you never miss an anime debate. I'm going to be doing these things 2 times a week going forward, and I need you to click that bell so no one misses it and I don't have to yell. Hi everyone, my name is Chris, and welcome to Anime Debate. This week we're going to put to head 3 anime. We normally do 2, but there's extra ones for you. We're gonna do Hunter x Hunter versus Naruto versus Dragon Ball. Now I'm gonna get right into the nitty-gritty here. Many people say that Naruto copied Hunter x Hunter, but I'm gonna tell you from my observations that Hunter x Hunter copied Dragon Ball. Not Dragon Ball Z, but the original Dragon Ball. Now I'm gonna just do a quick plot and synopsis deal here because I don't want to waste too much time. So basically, in all 3 of these series, you have a child protagonist who goes on an adventure to get better, and he trains and then he fights. Now the nuances of this are extremely subtle as you go deeper and deeper into each series. But they all essentially have the same exact plot, with protagonists that are almost the same as well, but they vary in very, very different ways. But I'll get into that in a moment. So which show has the best plot? I'll run into it really quickly. Goku is a kid who's really strong with a tail, and he fights and he goes on adventures and he's precocious. They're trying to collect these Dragon Balls to get their wishes granted and help save the world, or also save themselves, depending on the person who gets the ball. That's really how it pans out. Over on the side of Naruto is all about fighting and becoming a ninja, becoming the next Hokage, and battling and training and getting better, and espionage, and your friend betraying you and leaving, and you're like, oh my god, my friend, I need him back. And then, of course, we have Hunter x Hunter, which is about a boy who wants to meet his father, so he goes to become a hunter, and you get his entire trial of how he becomes a hunter, and eventually meets his dad, but also goes through these other crazy arcs that I won't get too deep into, because the show is so good, I don't want to spoil a second of it for you. So this video will be extremely thin with details on Hunter x Hunter, because it's so worth your time to watch and experience for yourself. But ultimately, if you give me any kind of inkling, any drop of which one is better, I am going to say as far as interest goes, I mean, the Dragon Ball series does it the best. The Dragon Ball gives you that thing you need to collect to get to. You have everybody who wants it as well. That just brings up the intrigue towards, like, I don't know, high levels of 20 to 30 and in comparison to 50. It's crazy. It's way more engaging in a series that is a lot more slower pace. Now let's move over into the characters, which I really dig and enjoy and I love. So the characters here are gonna be the part that I kind of struggle with really defining, because with Goku and young Krillin, because if you ever see Dragon Ball Z, you'll learn that Krillin changes his personality a lot, but young Krillin is a really cool character. He's sassy, he's devious, he's also, like, you know, really wily, and I really like what he was there, and I hate how he grew up and became kind of neutered. It's kind of lame, honestly. Goku is very precocious. Goku is very, I guess, curious, and also naive and a little bit stupid, but it's not his fault because he hit his head when he was a kid and didn't go to school. You then can compare Bulma into that whole bunch, where she's a kind of a street sassy kind of girl, and she knows she wants out the world, she wants a boyfriend, and she's just got a lot of anger pent up in her, but it all comes out in hilarious ways. You also have the pervert Master Roshi. You also have other side characters that show up as the show goes on. I will not get too deep into them, you know who they are, and they're all fun in their own rights, but the more and more you get to know them as the show goes on, the more and more you love them. Now over on the side of Naruto, you have a gigantic cast, and everyone has their own quirk that you really tend to just fall in love with. Some are kind of annoying, some are kind of atypical, but when you first start watching this show, you really do enjoy the archetypes that are presented here. And I won't get too deep into every character, because there's too many characters in there for Naruto, so I'll move over to Hunter x Hunter, which is where I really think I need to just put my freaking flag in and say they win. Because over on the side of Hunter x Hunter, you get these characters that are kind of like, you get your teenage boy who's a little bit of a horn dog, but also very brave and Leorio. You get Kahlua, who is like just surprisingly devious and has this mean streak despite being extremely polite all the time. But whenever he gets that streak, you can just see it, and you even get tense when he gets tense. You have Gon, or Gon if you will. Gon is another, like, to me, a bit of a Goku clone, but then he's also smarter than Goku, but he just doesn't let on as much. He's very trusting and very naive, but also extremely intelligent, and that shines through in his character better than most. I forget the other characters. Karupa. You have Karupa as well, who is like, he has all this mystery surrounding him, but at the end of the day, he just wants to be a kid. He just wants to be a normal kid when he's been raised in these harsh conditions. And you can see that, like, while he's very good at what he doesn't always love it. He's just been raised in a condition where he's gonna get pulled away at some point. The question is when. Hunter x Hunter has better character development. Not only are the characters archetypes, but they are archetypes defined and developed throughout. Every single episode offers some insight into who each character is. I feel like it takes Naruto and Dragon Ball literally, like 5 episodes to get to the places that Hunter x Hunter gets to in one. If you're gonna say anything, you're gonna say that Dragon Ball does a good job of keeping the pace and keeping the characters simple and easy to follow. You're going to say that Naruto does a good job of offering a higher level of depth, but then you take that same exact statement and apply it to Hunter x Hunter and turn it on its head, upside down, flip it around, and give it some fire because it's on freaking 10. Hunter x Hunter wins the character development and the character portion of this anime debate. Now let's move on to animation. Now, animation is awesome. It's great. It's the thing that we watch on these shows, because if it wasn't, it'd just be manga or a audiobook, and who wants to watch that? But really, the animation to me is more than just how fluid the characters move, or what studio worked on it, or how the mouth flaps work. Ultimately, for me, it's also the character models, how consistent they are, how the action plays out, how everything looks and feels, and if it can hold up over time. A true test of strong animation is if it still looks good years afterwards. And I'll just give it to you right away. Dragon Ball wins that anime debate for animation, because even though those character models are rounded and have softer features, they still pull off being intimidating. They still pull off looking good and crisp years later. You have to keep in mind, Dragon Ball came out in the 80s. Hunter x Hunter 2011, and Naruto, I think 2007 or so. I'm not really sure right now, but I just know that when I look at Hunter x Hunter and Naruto, they look very atypical. They could be interchanged in their animation style. But Dragon Ball has something unique about it that I feel like when it went into the Z level, it lost over time. But the uniqueness and the rich earthy feels and the color usage is very strong. And I have to say that it is the reason that I watch anime today. And that's why it wins the animation anime debate. Let's move over into music. Now, music is something that every otaku, every anime fan, every weeboo loves. We dance to it, we put it in our headphones, we run to it, we work out to it. It's just part of our daily lives. Now, every show has their iconic themes. Every show has their typical thing that plays whenever certain action parts start. Naruto has the it starts playing whenever anything big is happening, and you get pumped for it. Dragon Ball has that find out Dragon Ball, find out for them all, and then ding 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 ding. And then of course Hunter x Hunter has that Celtic music. I don't even know what it is. It's just this weird, different music, and I have to give Hunter x Hunter points for originality. It really does work well. It's definitely the most different thing or different set of music choices I've heard in any anime. But originality alone doesn't mean it's better. Of course, I'm gonna give the anime debate to anybody. I'm gonna give it to Naruto, because those things literally stick with you from the beginning to the end, from the freaking OP to the end things. You know almost all of them. I know the random ones. It's like you know what I'm singing right now. I don't even know the lyrics, but it's like crying and smile. Like, it just stays with you, and it works. And whoever produced these ballads, these amazing feats of musical symphony, deserve a reward. And because of that, I'm giving you guys the anime debate for music. I'll be honest, Naruto has some good fights. It does. It has some really epic fights. But I feel like I've seen these battles play out over time and over the universes spanning again and again. And it just feels like it's stale. It's the same old thing you get in every other shonen anime. But of course I'm speaking of the first season of Naruto. If you bring in Shippuden, well, bam, man, it just blows it out of the water, and I would definitely give it to Shippuden, but Shippuden's not in contention today. This is just Naruto. Sorry to say. And ultimately, Hunter x Hunter, while a great show, does not have the gold medal in fights. I think the fights can be very tense, be very emotional, but that's because you're invested, but not the actual battles. But when Dragon Ball goes into battle mode, I have a hard time telling you that it's not some of the best fighting I've seen in any anime, because it has a strict and harsh, I guess, aesthetic it holds on to, but also it believes in truly seeing martial arts on the big or little screen. Like, you actually see what they're pulling off. You get their moves, you get their stances, you get the cranes, the jumps, the moves, the kicks, the punches. All of it feels good. All of it looks real. And I, for one, would never want to go up against Master Roshi or Jackie Chun or anyone with a turtle anywhere near their back. But that's just an aside. But definitely, I'm going to give the anime debate for fights to Dragon Ball. But for comedy, gotta say, I have a hard time not laughing every time I've seen Naruto. They have things like sexy jutsu, or they have just different moments with characters that should be played for serious that get big laughs. Now, the show does get tenser as it goes on, but in that first season, they had some very, very strong comedic moments that I think were played off for gold. They're amazing. I think that Hunter x Hunter is quirky in its own right, but it's just more precocious than it is funny. And Dragon Ball is extremely whimsical, and I really enjoy the time they take to make sure that you have a good laugh and a good enjoyment with the show, especially with things like Master Roshi. But it comes across, as you can just tell, as set pieces and not so much as organic comedy. And that's just me being me. I definitely laughed a lot more when I watched Naruto, and I think maybe because the characters themselves were inherently all kind of just comedic in nature. Even with the new Hokage, the female one, she is still funny even though she's serious, and she's good at switching on and off, as is Naruto, as is Sasuke, and anyone else who's put up against a certain foil. And that's just how I view it, and that's why Naruto wins the anime debate for comedy. So these are three really good series, and I would tell you to watch all of them. But if you had to pick one to spend your days, your nights, your hours, your life with, I can only recommend one. And I'm going to tell you straight up, Naruto is an excellent series. It gets harbored down heavily by filler. And we all know how much we hate filler. You can look up a guide to figure out which episodes you should skip, because it's really easy to figure out. The ones that suck are the ones you should skip. But all that filler drags the show down just a little bit. But it still does a good job of putting heart and as well as endearing characters on a platter for you to enjoy. But the thing is that Hunter x Hunter did the same thing. Even if Hunter x Hunter, its anime, at least this edition of it, came afterwards, I think that the original manga, if you really look at the general plot and the storyline layout, you can just tell that Naruto kind of took some elements bit for bit for bit. And it's hard to say that if a show is inspired by another show, that the other show that came before it or after it is better. But then again, if you're going to do that same thing, you got to look at Dragon Ball, because you can starkly see where Dragon Ball is the influence to Hunter x Hunter. It is extremely obvious in this whole let's go on a journey and do a thing arc. Let's go on another test. Let's have another test. And let's have a very, very slow moving vehicle that we're going to get behind, with slow moving set pieces and slow moving stories, and then have action happen in between. Naruto moves at a faster pace, and I do enjoy that, but it's not as impactful. So it's already out. But between Dragon Ball and Hunter x Hunter, I have a hard time deciding. But ultimately, if I'm going to tell you to pick the show that gets you the most engaged, the show that gets you the most brought into the story, and the show that makes you care the most about the characters, I'm going to highly suggest Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter is a tour de force in the anime genre. It is one of the best anime I've ever seen in my life. It was one of the biggest arcs I've ever seen in my life. And the only thing holding it back from true greatness is that it's not done yet. It's not done. And that drives me crazy. But everything I did see was great. I mean, every episode was freaking phenomenal. With Dragon Ball, sometimes I found myself getting bored. That never happened with Hunter x Hunter. Every episode you watched was enthralling. Even the stuff where they're not fighting. And that is an amazing feat to pull off. No fights, and it's all right. And for that reason, Hunter x Hunter wins this 3-way anime debate. Let me know what you want to see me compare next on the next episode of Anime Debate, and I will highly consider it and get to work on it soon. It just takes time to watch these videos. But if you want to see me also do other forms of anime debates like top 5 videos or anime discussions or even a Dragon Ball Super retrospective, let me know down below by typing stuff and leaving a comment and giving me a like. That's how I know you like what I'm doing here. So thank you, everybody. This is Chris. Have a great day, and check out my other anime debates. I got plenty.